views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Okay, we are at 4101 White Plains Road on June 22nd at 7:30. I want to begin our Community Board 12 meeting. Those of you who wish to stand and salute our flag, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could you just bear with me and bow your heads for another tragedy that occurred with our cousins in the UK, the terrible fire that occurred 2 weeks ago, and another terrorist attack that occurred, as well as the tragedy in Washington with Congressman Scalise being shot. So just a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Be seated. Okay, thank you all for coming. And we have a lot on our agenda tonight. It's our last meeting of the year. June got here very quickly. Okay, we're going to start off with Miss Maria de la Cruz that wants to make a presentation to our board. So Maria, are you here? And you can go to the stand over there and make sure you turn the microphone on, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I usually wait for that. My name is Mariel de la Cruz. I work with the New York City Comptroller as the Bronx Borough Director. So just to be fully transparent, I'm the only person in the borough right now, so that might be why you don't see me as often. But going forward, hopefully that will change. I just wanted to make a quick announcement before I head off to another meeting that I have. The Comptroller is holding his annual Eid event this year, July 13th, and I have flyers, so you don't have to write it down. July 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. at DC 37, which is 125 Barclay Street. So again, it's our Eid event to celebrate the end of Ramadan, and it is July 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. at DC 37, 125 Barclay Street. So going forward, hopefully you will see me at different events and different things that are going on. If you're interested for the Comptroller or I to attend something, it's important for you to let me know. And I have business cards, but I'm leaving fairly soon, so if you need them, I can leave them on the desk, or he could pass out my information as well. Thank you so much. I'll pass the flyers out to you and the cards. All right, thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening. Maxine is next from the Congressman's office. How are you, Maxine? How are you doing today? This evening, rather. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Maxine Sullivan. I work for Congressman Elliot Engel. And before we close, I know we're going to close for the summer, but I just wanted you to be aware that the Co-op City and the Community Board 12, I do work here at the Community Board 12 every other Friday. I'm going to leave the schedule because our office do not close for the summer. So if you have any questions, any concerns regarding federal, Social Security, immigration, you need to come and see me. So if you don't want to come and see me at Community Board 12, you can come to my Co-op City office, which is 177 Dreiser Loop, rooms 3. Okay, so again, have a good summer, but my office again is open. On behalf of Congressman Elliot Engel, I thank you.
A question, what day are you here at the board again? What days are you here at the board?
Okay, the days I'm here, let me go to June. Let's give me some dates. I have my schedule here, but let me put some for the record. I'm here on Friday, June the 2nd, June the 6th is over, and June the 30th, July 14th, July 28th, August the 11th, August the 25th, and then September the 8th, September the 29th, October the 6th, October the 27th, November the 10th, November the 17th, December the 8th, and December the 22nd. I do have these cards here. The cards are going to be left on the table for you to share, to pass out, but they're always here. And if you want to call me, you can call me at the number 718-320-2314. Okay, thank you, and have a good summer.
Thank you, Maxine. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Daniel Driscoll is going to give us a presentation, and I think we need to pull this screen down to do that. So, Bob, would you do that for us? Just pull that screen down. And Daniel, how you doing? And thank you for giving us that presentation. Okay.
Our official screen puller.
I think if you go from the middle, you'll be in better shape. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are we okay? Okay.
Okay, just talk, Rob. Dana.
Glad I get a couple of minutes to describe this proposal that will have a positive impact on jobs for the community. This is the major takeout from this proposal. This is a change in text of the zoning resolution. We are creating a new special permit or a discretionary application. This will give the community board an opportunity to review and comment on upcoming proposals. Basically, we're calling this the self-storage proposal, and it is designed to locate these self-storage facilities in locations that are not conflicting with more job-generating activities. This proposal is part of the overall industrial action plan that the city has developed. As you know, in general, manufacturing, industrial-type jobs provide a higher wage level, more income security than retail or sales or some office employment. So we are trying to preserve the industrial areas that have the most job potential and to limit the possibility of the self-storage facilities locating in these areas. There will be other areas where the self-storage facilities can be located. And again, I'll just sort of briefly read through as we're going through here. This is part of the mayor's industrial action plan, and it's to essentially limit personal storages in IBZs. IBZs are mapped industrial business zones where the city feels that the maximum industrial employment, manufacturing employment can take place. This map here is showing the industrial business zones in the city. We have some here in District 12, and on a citywide basis, over 68%, that's more than 2/3 of the industrial sector employment are in these industrial business zones. And the wholesale trade industry, transportation, construction, manufacturing, these are industries that need to locate in these areas, so we're trying to eliminate potential conflicts between the self-storage, which is a also growing storage, growing industry in the area. Again, since 2010, employment is growing in these IBZs, and we want to make sure that that is the trend for the future. Again, most of the IBZs are located in your C8 and the manufacturing zones M1, M2, and M3. This particular proposal is addressed to 4 boroughs, and we're looking again in areas where land use is predominantly industrial. So we are not targeting all of the manufacturing zones. We're just targeting the portion of the manufacturing zone areas that are within the pre-designated industrial business zones. I've shared this presentation with the district manager. If you want to take a look moving forward at your leisure, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. This is, again, the problem that we are trying to address. The unregulated development of self-storage detracts from the employment goals and the planning goals for the manufacturing districts. The self-storage facilities themselves are low job generating uses, legal uses, but they do not generate a large amount of employment. And again, our study shows 5 employees per facility. And if you're looking at the structure there, this is quite a significant commitment of land to provide only 5 jobs. The self-storage, again, serves households. 70 to 80% of the customers of the self-storage are households. And they tend, again, to compete with higher job-generating industrial uses, looking for the primary sites that are along highways and truck routes, and these are the sites that the industrial sector needs in order to grow and develop. And when you have one of these structures, again, they're legal, but they essentially cut off the opportunity for more jobs per acre, more job per building. We're showing a couple of examples here. These are the 4 boroughs that are involved in our study. Manhattan has a little higher land economics, and that's why they're not a part of this particular study. Self-storage is in high demand and is expected to continue to grow. We don't have a problem with continued growth. We just want to make sure that they're not getting in the way, again, of the industrial, the manufacturing uses that provide the good jobs with livable, sustainable wages. Designated areas in the M districts on sites larger than 20,000 square feet represent almost a quarter of new construction on large sites, and these are the very sites that the industrial sector is looking for to invest and create employment. The self-storage themselves are classified as a warehouse use. Currently, they're, as of right, in C8 and M1, M2, M3 districts. They're in all boroughs, and again, 1/4 of all the self-storage facilities are in designated portions of the IBZs. This is the summary for the Bronx. 52 existing self-storage facilities, 16 of which are in the industrial business zones, 21 in other M zones, 7 in the C8 districts, and 8 are legal non-conforming uses in commercial, in a couple of cases in residential zone due to grandfathered status. And we are trying to I'm going to pass over on our neighboring boroughs. The special permit, again, it just says if a person who desires to open a self-storage facility, if he goes to a location in one of the business zones, then this is giving opportunity for the community through the special permit process. They will come here and have a hearing through one of the committees, and this is just a way to make sure that there are no conflicts between other possible higher employment generating uses. Again, this is a case-by-case review. Everyone has a right to apply. We have a set of findings, as we do with other special permits, and if they can satisfy the findings, they will get the permit to locate in the industrial business zone. If they do not meet the requirements, they still can open a business, but they're going to need to look to another manufacturing or C8 location that's outside of the IBC. Self-storage will be promoted, but only in the appropriate locations. Warehouses and moving companies are not subject to the proposed restrictions. They are different uses within the use group 16. Again, these are the criteria for the granting of the special permit. That are not appropriate for conforming industrial uses. Those will be the sites that are approved for the self-storage. And again, some of the considerations to take into account: the zoning lot size. If we have a very large lot, again, this is where we can maximize employment. Maybe a self-storage facility which has 5 or 7 employees is not the best use of a large site. We'd rather have a site that might have multiple shifts and providing multiple opportunities for employment. Other considerations: proximity to truck routes, the capacity of the local street network. We have issues concerning parking. This would be the process where we review the suitability of the parking and the proposed self-storage facilities. Also, again, if there is investment in the surrounding area that suggests that there's a market, and that would be an argument against the self-storage facility and for higher employment generating businesses. We will look at environmental concerns, maybe a brownfield, maybe a former gas station that would have toxic waste, and these are the considerations that the special permit process will bring to light. Existing self-storage facilities are permitted and will be permitted to remain and will be permitted to expand or enlarge within their zoning lot. If they were to expand within another zoning lot, that would trigger the special permit requirement. Again, if they expand on their own lot, they are allowed to expand as of right. And again, the special permit is a discretionary action, and this is a sort of a brief schematic of the time frame and the process. They go through the same pre-application process. They go through the same EULA process with the community board review, the borough president review. They would have a hearing and a vote at the planning commission, and the city council and the city council persons obviously would have the final say on the approval process. This is the process that we've been following for this particular permit. We are now down to the bottom of the page with the public hearing, community and borough board, and borough president review. There was a presentation in the spring, I believe, at the borough board, and I'm pleased to take any questions or comments that you might have. Thank you.
I want to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, Dana, for a comprehensive presentation. What's going to happen now is that the community boards are going to have more authority in regulating these areas, self-storage areas. Now, we're going to have to vote on this tonight, folks, because they're going to have a borough board meeting on the 12th of July. So we, as a board, have to vote on this so we can go down to borough board and give an okay. So just to let you know that Dana was here, he gave him the comprehensive presentation for a reason. So if anybody has any questions, please give those questions to him now so you'll totally understand, because when we take that vote, we want you to be fully informed. Okay, Dana, thank you.
Mike. Is it on? Oh, okay, great. So I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Thanks again for coming. So For my edification and for maybe some of the residents in the audience, can you explain what M districts are, what that means?
Yeah, we basically, within the planning, we have three broad categories of land uses. We have the M use, which is the manufacturing or industrial.
Okay.
We have the C use, which is the commercial, retail, and office space. We have the R use, which is the residential, and then we have the community facility uses. So in general, residences are not permitted in the manufacturing zones. Most of the commercial zones allow commercial or residential development. The residential zones, no manufacturing or commercial uses are allowed. We have the residential uses and what we call the community facility uses, good or bad. This could be anything from a public library to a daycare center, a hospital. These are examples of community facility uses.
Thank you. Question two is, you mentioned industrial business zones, which is fantastic in use. What are the demands right now for these high impact zones, in particular in Community Board 12?
Well, in general, I do have district-specific information that I will share with the district manager.
Okay.
But in general, they are talking about New York as a quote-unquote East Coast Silicon Alley. And this is tied in with the attempts in the public education system to focus on more STEM education, the technological and scientific areas. So the big picture talks about getting our education system in place where our children can have a technical education and compete for these jobs.
Because that leads me to my next question, because so you're talking about something like an incubator, like what, like SBIR, STTR type funding and stuff like that, because I know that in the life sciences, Mayor Bloomberg and now Mayor de Blasio are, in that sphere. So we're talking about STEM, so that's telling me that I was looking for the type of training and skills necessary, but you've kind of sort of alluded to that. So in other words, we'd have to really improve I won't say our school systems per se, but you're saying that you would need really high-skilled technical.
We do have to, no question, we have to improve our school system. I think last year we had less than a quarter of our children were proficient in math with the statewide exams, and we have a long way to go to get that situation together. We need to actually, there's now a dispute in Albany about continuation of the mayoral control, and all of this ties into the overall quality of the education that our children are getting or not getting, as the case may be.
And my last question is, how many jobs are we talking about overall? So you've stated that there are 5 jobs created by self-storage. So how many jobs are we talking about with these particular facilities, and what time frame are we talking about in particular?
Well, again, I mean, there are a wide variety of these uses. It could be anything from a auto repair is an example of what would be permitted. So we were basically trying to draw the comparison between the low number of jobs in the storage facilities, the building that we showed, the graphic here. I mean, you might have 2 or 3 people that are working here, one guy at the desk, and that's about it. So we can get numbers about industrial employment in the Bronx and in the district. Well, I mean, again, it varies from site to site. The question is the number of jobs per, when the planning, we're only dealing with per square foot, and we're suggesting we might be able to at least double or more the number of jobs per square foot or per acre that are provided.
Any other questions? Yeah, we can hear you.
This is rather to, I guess, I'm compelled to share with not only the board and the community. I just want to share that the concept of storage facilities, and although I'm not very well versed in this, they're an issue in itself. I mean, jobs are not concerned.
Very good.
Back to what I was saying, the concept of storage facilities is an issue in itself. Jobs are not a concern of these storage facilities. It's rent control, lack of housing, affordability. It's an issue of high population of homelessness, because our families in these storage facilities, in the first place, that many of these storage facilities are doing good business because of this, and in some cases, and on the tax dollar. Where I'm going with this is the fact that the reason why these storage facilities are popping up in the first place is because our families can't afford housing. So they have to put stuff, they have to put the storage somewhere, and it's becoming a cesspool for our community's money, when it should be more concentrated in, helping our homeless, helping creating more jobs, okay? And, acclimating our families, our low-income families, back into housing when they can't afford it in the first place. So we really need to be mindful of that, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make a comment responding to you, which is very good, but what is happening here now, this initiative will give the community boards more authority to regulate, and that's the important
No, I
issue.
got that.
Yeah.
But I do want to, I think it's something that we're not paying
Yeah,
attention.
one thing leads to another, which leads to the
Right, I
other.
think it's something
Yeah.
that we're not paying attention to. These things are popping up like McDonald's, and we never had these things before. And we have to question ourselves and say, well, why is this happening? And it's happening because our families can't afford storage. We can't afford to move our furniture whenever we're put out of our homes or anything like that. So what we have to do is we have to then put our stuff in storage, and then there's these programs which are then funded, right, by the taxpayers' dollar to now put their furniture
In storage, yeah.
into storage.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a cesspool. It's like unrealistic interest rates. Okay? It's the same concept, and it's just something that we need to be mindful of. And I hope that whatever I shared tonight, you share it back home and you share with others, so that this way we're all mindful, become more mindful to put a stop to these things and come up with better solutions.
Well, the important issue is that your vote is going to help regulate all of this, which is very important, so well taken.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Just briefly, if I could, oh, yes, please.
You need a microphone. Give her a microphone. Behind the screen. She says how many?
I will tomorrow forward to the district manager a listing of the facilities that are in District 12. It is here on the map, but to show the entire borough, the magnification doesn't allow you to kind of zoom in on the local area, but we do have a list of these facilities in the district and in the borough.
She said she didn't quite hear. Okay, they didn't quite hear you. Can you switch the microphone on? Switch it on.
Guys, just a point of order real quick. We can't hear you, and since we're on TV, you have to speak into the microphone.
Oh, you didn't hear me.
Please speak into the microphone. That includes our chairman, who is not speaking in the microphone right now.
Do you want me to repeat what I just said? I wanted to know how many of these you can have in the ratio area, like let's say like between 4 or 5 blocks between each of them. Is that too close?
I think what Dana said is that he will give that specific information to the district manager, and you can ask
And
the
they will-
district manager at another point. He can't really zoom in on that now. Am I correct,
Okay.
Dana?
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Yeah, just to be on piggybacking on what Carmen is saying, said. Now, if you don't know exactly the space between of how many should be in an area, don't they usually or should go through their board, community board, before they place these storage facility in the neighborhood?
This is what we're going to be voting on, so that the community board has authority to vote on this. There's going to be a process, and I think you just demonstrated the process. Community board, council member, and ULURP process. So right now, up until now, there hasn't been a process. Am I correct, Dana? And now we're going to implement a process based on our vote tonight, and we'll be in the loop on the regulatory issue.
Well, just to be perfectly clear, I understand what you're saying now. What brought this up for you to do such a survey to make sure that the board, community boards are involved with it now? Was this something happening, or was it a SOI, or either was an opening?
Well, again, this is part of the Industrial Action Plan, which is a broader effort to increase industrial jobs in the city. When we saw this problem, essentially you have a business that might have 30 or 40 employees that gets pushed out competing for a site with another business that has 5 or 6 employees. So we designed this, again, previously these were all as-of-right developments. You submit your plan and you get approved. Now we're getting the community involved and the city council involved so that we can better allocate the available space to the higher employment generating activities.
Makes sense.
And if I just could, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I want to apologize. I don't like to present and run. I have another appointment in South Bronx involving Mrs. Driscoll, and I would suffer severe negative environmental impacts. I don't want that to happen. So again, I will reach out to the district office and we'll share the
Diana, thank you very much. Very comprehensive. We're going to take that vote as well. Thank you. All right, thank you, board members.
Is anybody here from sanitation? Bruno? I know Bruno's not here, but anybody here? Oh, Bruno's here? Okay, very good. He's next.
Another one. You need this? Yeah. Muscles. Muscles.
Does he need a screen?
No, you don't need a screen. No, you need
your light upon. Who do I speak at? Right here? Yeah.
Okay, folks, we have our third presentation, and we're going to go ahead. No, we'll vote on it later. I just want to make sure the board members were cognizant of that. We are going to vote, so I want you guys to have that in your head so that when you go back to it, okay? All right, let's move on, George. No, we don't need the screen for this one. This presentation.
Yep.
Okay,
Well,
sanitation.
thank
And
you
just
for having
identify
us.
yourself, please.
Yep,
and-
my name is Andrew Hoyles. I'm the Senior Manager for Organics Outreach for the Department of Sanitation. The reason that I'm here tonight is to give a really brief update on the expansion of curbside organics collection. That's the collection of food scraps, food soil, paper, and yard waste. And we'll be expanding that program to the Bronx this summer, particularly to Bronx Community Board 12 in August, with service beginning in September. Okay, so essentially what we'll be providing is a brown rodent-proof bin to all residents who live in a 1 to 9 unit household. And inside that bin, that's where you would line that bin with a clear plastic liner and then put any food scraps or yard waste, which the agency we collect on your recycling day once a week, and we turn that material into compost that we give back to the city, and also we turn that into renewable energy so that you can, essentially we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint with the agency.
I think we need to turn up his microphone so he can we turn up his microphone, guys? A little bit?
I don't, on the microphone or?
Yeah. No, I think we need to turn it
Take it up, okay. Is this better?
Yep, that's better.
This is better, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what I was explaining is that essentially that we would take this material, food scraps, yard waste, and food soiled paper, and we turn that into compost. We give this compost back to the city that way. We'll be delivering these bins throughout Community Board 12 all throughout August, okay? Everyone in a 1 to 9 unit household will receive one of these brown rodent-proof bins. In addition to that, an indoor kitchen container, and then a packet full of information. I did put some of the information on the sign-in table in the back room over there, so just as you're leaving tonight, be sure to grab some of that information so you can learn about the program, you can read through it. It's a voluntary program, but we certainly hope that people give it a try. The point of this paper, of this program, is to reduce the amount of waste that we are sending out. But also, when these bins are rodent-proof. They have latches on them. They prevent rats and raccoons, rodents, things like that from getting into your trash. You know, if you imagine black bags on the curb, those things getting torn open by stray cats, things like that. That doesn't happen with this brown bin. So that's what the agency is trying to do right now. Again, any questions or anything like that, if I can take a few, but also if I can't answer as many as there are for tonight, you can go to nyc.gov/organics, or you can grab some of the literature that's outside on the table to learn more about the program.
All right, any questions from the boards? I'm going to recognize young lady over here. Okay, you're a microphone.
Good evening, everyone. My question is, when you go to drop off the baskets in August, will somebody be there to speak to the people, the homeowners, about what they should do? Because you said it's a large packet of information. Sometimes people are not interested in that.
Thank you for the question. So upon bin delivery, what we have is essentially a kind of a convoy where we have the delivery trucks, we have outreach staff that work for me. I brought in a team of people who speak, Spanish, Chinese. We have a very diverse team, so we're trying to speak to everyone about the program. They have other information and literature that's translated into multiple languages that we can hand out to residents and answer questions if they have any. There'll also be a sanitation supervisor there observing the delivery and then the rollout. Okay.
Dr. Burke?
For this program, oils would be included as far as residential. This is only for residential participants, city agencies, schools, nonprofits, things like that. This isn't for commercial generators of waste, but if you as a homeowner had, some cooking grease or something like that, that would be acceptable in this program. Anything, if it grows, it goes, basically. Any type of cooking oil, bones, meat, dairy, yard trimmings, all of that type of stuff, that's completely acceptable in this program.
Call?
Yeah, my question is, what about apartment houses?
What about apartment houses? It's another good question. The literature out there does specifically talk about that. For buildings with 10 or more units, they are completely eligible. We want them to participate. Because buildings with 10 or more units typically have a super on site or a building staff, they have to enroll in the program. And basically what the enrollment is us conducting a site visit for the building so that we know where to place the bin at, and that we can educate the residents. If there's a 50-unit building or a 500-unit building, we want to make sure that there's some education that goes on within the building. It's a little bit different if I knocked on, somebody's house in a single-family home. I can talk to the owner or the tenant of that building. In a large apartment building, we have to educate all of the residents so that they're all participating in the program. So on the table, there is more information on buildings with 10 or more units and how to participate, but nyc.gov/organics is where you would essentially request organics for a large apartment building, 10 or more units.
Thank you. Ms. Gibson? Microphone.
You say you're coming here. Excuse me, you say you're coming here in August?
Yes.
Where have you been before you arrive here?
So Curbside Organics right now, it's in about its third year. There are 1.6 million residents who have the program. In the Bronx, it was piloted in Bronx Community Board 10 and Bronx Community Board 8, which those community boards are also fully expanding the program. So in this summer, Community Boards 8, 10, 11, and 12 will all receive the program as a rolled out. In the rest of New York City, all of Manhattan is available as far as enrolling in the program. In Brooklyn, some 7 or 8 community boards fully have the program.
So this officially started when?
In 2013. The city right now is expanding Curbside Organics to be citywide. By the end of 2018, our plan is to provide curbside organic service to all New Yorkers.
And what is your success up to this point?
We're on track to reach that goal of providing the service by 2018.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gibson. Over here.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Theodore James. The question I have is, what will be the frequency of collection for these bins, and also, are they in any way able to control, like, the smell?
Good question.
So that we don't have these, harboring in
Pests,
our
flies,
communities.
things like that. The frequency of collection will be once per week on your recycling day. The bins themselves, they are rodent-proof and lined. Excuse me, we recommend and request actually that people line the bin with a clear plastic liner. That will keep, this is the putrescible way, so we request that people do line the bin so that they will keep any odors and things like that inside of the bin. But the benefit is that we've noticed that when residents actually latch the bin and line it, then they reduce rodent populations. We're working with Department of Health and Mental Hygiene on this program to look at rodent populations that we're decreasing that have the brown bin. And additionally, tenants are often happy that they don't have trash that's sitting in the garbage can stinky because it's in the brown bin, which contains odors within inside of it, as long as it's lined and the liner's been wrapped around and the lid is latched down on it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Dr. Burke again?
Let me ask one more question. So getting back to the bio waste, and particularly with the cooking oils, so obviously that's liquid in which you're talking about the organics. I'm thinking about maybe like pizza crumbs and things like that, food waste, which obviously go in the compost. Wouldn't you need another type of collection device other than a bin, maybe something like for instance, I use a 5-gallon pail. Wouldn't you need that so that you wouldn't have the mixture in the messy bag?
Well, so what we provide is we provide the outdoor bin, the brown bin that has the latch and a lid. In addition to that, we provide an indoor kitchen collector, and that indoor bin is to line it, sort of like your new garbage can, I would think, because if you're recycling correctly already, then you wouldn't really have much trash left. Okay, we ask the residents line the actual bin, and then when it's put inside of the back of the garbage truck, our facilities actually have depackaging machinery that will separate that plastic fraction from the organics, and that's how we can turn it into compost at the end of it. Okay, so we ask that it's bagged up, and that would essentially be the container or the vehicle to move that organic waste.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none. Okay, thank you very much for that presentation, and hopefully you'll be returning again.
Certainly, yeah.
Okay,
in the
and
fall.
We'll
Please
keep
invite me
this,
back
make
to the
this a
fall.
good habit. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Going to move to the next agenda item. Folks, just at the beginning of the meeting, I guess I didn't mention, please turn your cell phones off, and the other conversations that we have all get into our tape recorder, so we're asking you to not have the conversations. Okay, I'd like the approval of a motion for the approval of the minutes from May 27th.
Is Jennifer here?
With corrections? Okay, so I got from Carl. And who was the second? Dr. Burke? Okay. We're going to take a vote on that. A yay is approval, as you know, and a nay is not. Okay. Let me give you the mic.
Franklin Alapo, not here. Benitez Judith. Bennett Iguria. Hazelberry. Bloomfield Hillary. Boras Ivan Anthony. Borsotti Carla. Brown Ellen Marlene. Not here. Victor Brown. Deacon Edward Brown. Brian Norbert. Dr. Lagree Burke. Campbell Sadie. Christian Evelyn. Clark Gale. Abstain. Joan Clark. Coleman Bernicia. Dickerson Tolien. Eastman Laura. Not here. Eastman Raymond. Eastman Raymond. Not here. Figueroa. Evans Raymond. Figueroa Alfredo. Gibson LaGrant Barbara. Johnny Goff. Not here. Green Chantel. Not here. Robert Hall. William Hall. Lisa Hayes. Horton April. Not here. Isaac John. James Theodore. Lanzano Carl. Lucille Martin. Not here. McLeod Mary. Not here. McNeil Walter. Not here. Angela Moore. Not here. Clinton Mike. Ortiz Carmen. Aye. Porter Frank. Powell Claudia. Not here. Anthony Reed. Not here. Dr. Dina Robbins. Not here. Felix Roldan. Not here. Salki Icy Mae Thomas. Excuse. Strickland Carl.
Aye.
Nicole Weir. Not here. And Norma Woods. Yes, the ayes got it.
All right, folks, the ayes have it, board members. Thank you. So our minutes have been approved. All right, we're going to go to good and welfare. We have quite a few members of the community that want to speak, so we're going to ask you to continue. The list is right there. So I'm going to give it to my first and second vice chairs, and please come to the microphone when your name is called.
First speaker, Opal McCullen, Mind Builders.
Good evening. So my name is Opal McCullen. I'm here from Mind Builders. Mind Builders is located right off of Olinville Avenue. We are a creative arts center. We've been a part of this community for approximately 35 plus years. And I'm just here to briefly talk about some of our summer activities and offerings. We are preparing for our street festival, which is an annual event. There are some postcards I left with at the front desk for further information. Our fall brochures are out. Those brochures are at the front desk as well. And this summer, we are offering some summer programs. We are offering a musical theater program for youth ages 8 to 13. We will be offering some dance classes, ballet, African, hip hop, and modern. We will be offering adult Zumba twice a week, Wednesday evenings and Saturday afternoons. I encourage you all to get our information, check out our website. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to give us a call. If you have nothing happening for your children, your grandchildren, children in your community, direct them to us. As I said, we are a community-based organization. We do have fees, but we are flexible, and we have a lot of programs and scholarship opportunities in place for families who can't otherwise afford the tuitions. So thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. And you've been around a long, long time. I remember the first time you came to the board. Yes. Okay. Next speaker will be Carrie Lynn Gordon. Yeah. Can you leave your website with somebody so they can get it? Mind Builders? All right, Carrie Lynn, you, okay.
Our website is www.m as in Mary, I as in Igloo, N as in Nancy, D as in dog, / builders, B as in boy, U as in unicorn, I as in igloo, L as in lemon, D as in dog, E as in egg, R as in red, S as in Sam, dot, O as in open, R as in red, G as in good. Okay? All right. Check us out.
Thank you. Go ahead, Carrie.
Hi, good evening, Community Board 12 members. Excuse me, my throat is a little bit out. I've been doing actually a lot of talking today. First of all, I just wanted to applaud all of you and thank you for another year of service and commitment to our community. I've been a member of this community for a little over 35 years as well, and now I'm a mother and a grandmother, a daughter of also community members. At the same time, I also want to express my own personal regret for having applied to be a part of the board for 2 years and both times being rejected. And I want to make that public because I do think that when members of the community, and I again commend you all, and like Mr. Hall always says, you know, this is an unpaid position. And I do think that when you have members of the community who are willing to give up their unpaid time, their skills, their qualifications, that there should be some basis for how that's chosen. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I think what's worse in there is that I was okay with not being, quote unquote, a member of the board. However, what I really wanted to do was to lend my own skills and education towards the education of others in the community. And so I just wanted to be a part of the education committee of the board. And this is not anything to you all. However, since September, we are now in June, there has not appeared to be a working, functional school committee of the board. I've came up here several times, I've called several times, and that meeting hasn't taken place. Why that's important is, as someone who continually and daily works with, even up to today, visiting a school, our schools need community support. Our principals, our teachers, our students, most of all, need to know that they are embodied in the community. They need the schools and the principals and the leaders in that building. There are issues that do come up that affect the community board, and the schools need your support. I've been, over the last 90 days or so, talking to a lot of community members who are lost for places. You know, Mind Builders is great. I actually went through Mind Builders. I tell people I started at Mind Builders when it was above, when Madaha lived on my street, and Mind Builders was up above where Fine Fair is now. A lot of times parents do ask for resources, and I just asked the board that, I know that George talked that you guys are going on a retreat and looking at how you're going to structure next year. So again, I just implore you to look at the school committee, the youth committee, you know, a moment of silence for those folks overseas, but I also just want to acknowledge a moment of silence on my neighborhood. We have a problem. I spoke to the 47th precinct about young people being outside. We've had, within the radius of my house, 2 murders within the last 90 days. A moment of silence for those mothers, because both of those individuals were under 25 years old. So again, I'm asking the board to just look at your school committee, your youth committee, and your commitment to those entities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Just want to respond to you, because we've had our conversations, and you are welcome on the education committee. You don't have to be a board member to join our education committee. So we can talk a little more, and I'll be happy to have you. Okay?
Okay. Next speaker, Brian Melford.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Brian.
I'm Brian Melford from Councilmember King's office. In response to Mind Builders, the council member proudly and continuously funds them for different programs in the community, especially their cultural immigrant initiatives that they provide the community. And a very diverse community such as ours needs programs that cultivate culture, teaches kids how to play instruments, and teaches some history about what this community has to offer and what came before us. So that was just a point out there that Councilmember King has the back of Mind Builders and organizations in the community that services the community. In regards to summer of 2017, August 5th, we will be having a community parade and a concert. The Community Service and Engagement Day Parade will be August 5th, right before Jamaican Independence Day for those of Caribbean diaspora. And for those in the community that want to participate, this will be a free parade, a free concert. There will be a lot of activity on that day. So I'm praying for a safe, wholesome summer. I thank the board for another year of hard work. Lord knows we've had some fun. And guess what? There's only more work to be done. There are going to be more people moving into our neighborhood. There are going to be more services that we need to render, more agencies that need to come and visit us and let us know what's going on. I got a complaint from Ms. Vera Fry while sitting outside enjoying a piece of chicken that there are certain activities happening around our neighborhood and in our neighborhood that we have to be abreast of and aware of. And sadly, if you're not paying attention, things are happening under our noses. There is a concerted effort outside of this neighborhood to take over property in this neighborhood, to take over foreclosed homes in this neighborhood, to build storage facilities where there used to be other kind of activities in the region. We have to take charge of our neighborhood because nobody's going to come in here and save us from it. So if we don't do it, who else is going to come and do it for us? We have to be the gatekeepers of our neighborhood. And I thank Community Board 12 for standing to the charge, for doing the work, and providing the service. I applaud all those that also want to be on the board. If you're not on the board, you can still help the board. You can still start a block association, start a homeowners association. There are many, many ways that we can get involved. Join a civic organization. Mr. Sotomayor is at every meeting I go to in the Northeast Bronx. And Mr. Sotomayor is a person that not only sees the problems, he contacts the agencies that he needs to get solutions, he contacts our office when need be. We need everyone to be an agent of change locally so we can solve the little problems before they become big problems. Teamwork makes the dream work. If you complain and don't tell somebody from the city council, you can't get mad at the city council and know about it because I don't live on every block. I can tell you what's going on Barnes Avenue because I live on Barnes Avenue. If something's happening on 218 and nobody's called us and said anything, realistically, I'm not going to just walk every block of the neighborhood because then councilman's budget would never get done. We have to have that relationship where you know something's going on. Feel free to call Brian Melford or just anybody. But you know my name, you see my face. Say, hey, Brian, problem A, how can we figure it out? If it's not regards to a city agency, a state agency, Senator Jamal Bailey's office is there to help. Or Speaker Carl Hasty, the Speaker of the entire State Assembly, is there to help us. Realistically, we shouldn't have any problems. We have this Speaker. We can make one phone call and we can try to figure out some solution, but we have to work together. I'm on a stool, but I thank you all for your time, and I'm praying that 2017 we do it together.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for all your work. Okay. The next speaker is Frank Sotomayor. No, Mayor. All right, I do it to him every month, and one of these months I'll learn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today what I'm going to talk about is two things. It's the 47th Precinct Community Council And I urge everybody that can make the meetings, which is the second Wednesday of every month. They meet at different locations throughout the community area. And what I'd like to stress is that when you have any problems or anything, you can bring them up to the precinct commander there, talk to him about them, and discuss the problem with him, and he'll assign a couple of officers to follow through on it. Now, the other thing is the NCO meetings. There's a pilot program that began here
Mr. Sotomayor, you need to
in
speak
the
into the
Bronx.
microphone. Speak it a little closer to the microphone.
Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, that's an NCO program. Hello? Is that better? Okay. The NCO program, it originally began here in the Bronx, and now it's being extended throughout the whole city of New York. And the basis of that program is where you have officers that are assigned to certain sectors, like in the Bronx, 2 officers, I guess, for a sector, and then they have 2 other officers under them. And what happens is, any complaints or any problems that you have,
Check 1.
and we're live on TV, so that's good. Now, as I was saying on the NCOs, you talk to these gentlemen or these officers about whatever problem you have. It doesn't matter what it is. They have direct lines, like to, for instance, sanitation. They have people in sanitation they can call directly if you have a problem. They prefer that you call 311 to register your call, okay? And then once you register it, your complaint number, and you jot that down. Once you have that, the next day what I normally do is I send an email to one of these officers, and they'll take down your complaint. If you have any pictures or anything else that you think it's necessary for them to have to go after or towards a problem, you send it to them in the email. And what they do is they follow through on it, and they'll get back to you, or you can get back to them, and they'll let you know what they've done to it. A lot of times, they'll take it, they'll get in touch with the community board or the different departments, like the building department and other agencies, and work with them to settle your problem. Important, on August 17th, they're having a meeting at St. Barnabas, a school cafeteria at 7 o'clock. That's August 17th. And it would be nice if all of us went and took part in that meeting, because it's a good program, it works, it's been proven to work. I've had maybe a dozen things that they've corrected for me. From, they were working on 4747, they were working on the 4750, that TNL auto shop that they finally, with the help of EDP and the community board, George Torres and other officers, they managed to get that closed down. And removing vehicles without any license plates off the streets, I've gotten them to do that. And it seems like it's endless what they can do for you. So I would suggest that you use them. It's there, use it, so that we don't lose it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank, and I promise to try better in September. Pamela Hamilton Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to give honor to God. Amen. My name is Pamela Hamilton Johnson, and I'm here because I'm running for a city council seat. But before I get to that, I just wanted to thank Johnny Goff, who had a women's empowerment program at Eastwood Manor that really inspired a lot of older women, middle-aged women, and young women. And that is one of the reasons why I know that I need to run. I know that there was a glass ceiling in this district. We've only had one woman ever to hold one seat. There's never been one before her or one after her. So when Brian got up and he started talking about the speaker who was called, you have Jamal, who's the senator, and you have Andy King and Elliot Engel, all men in this district. And it's a shame because we need to support more women in office. We will always continue to get 60 to 70% to the dollar to a man if we don't have women to advocate for reproductive rights, for financial rights, for educational rights for our children. So I am running. It'll be a primary in September 12th this year.
Pamela.
Oh, I can't say that. Okay, I won't say that. I'll take it back.
Okay.
I'm just saying, women, we need to support other women, and men, you need to support women as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pamela.
Next speaker, Lathea Williams.
Good evening. Lethea Williams, formerly of East Laconia Community Association. I'm speaking on behalf of my own block on 223rd Street. The problem is, I happen to see on four corners the new triangular structures that might not be lights for lighting the community, because I've put in traffic lights in the community before. And I believe they're putting in traffic lights on 223rd Street, right on Boston Road. And no one was notified in the community about that. So if I'm wrong, then I apologize. But as I said, I've put traffic lights in on 222nd Street, and that has caused a problem in our community, as well as what they're planning to do right across on Wendy's, where most of you are familiar with, on Boston Road. They don't have any consideration of the side streets. I understand that might be Route 1 or Route 100, whatever it is, but they don't think about the impact that it's going to have on the one street that's moving from Boston Road towards White Plains Road. The other streets are going the opposite way, from White Plains Road towards Boston Road. And because the lights are there, I don't see, I think Ursula's outside, who I called regarding this issue. The problem is, once they put the lights in, everybody and their brother's gonna look for that side street to circumvent the light that they put on that corner. I don't know what idiot thought to do it, because of the fact everyone knows where Walgreens is on 222nd. That's a nightmare, traveling on 222nd, whichever direction you're going in. When you turn off of 222nd by Walgreens to go north on Boston Road, you will automatically stop at 223rd Street. And that would be from the distance where these cameras are at to where the bathroom doors are, for at least maybe 3 cars to make that turn. And if they're going to change the direction of the street, I just realized he was sitting here, I apologize. That our chairperson is here, that if they're going to change the direction of the street, I didn't hear anything about that, or if they're going to stop people from turning into 223rd Street across from Wendy's, I didn't hear about that. So the problem is timing of those lights. We already have 3 different time lights there where we're stopping, coming up Boston Road, where you have to stop at by Kentucky Fried Chicken. You go past PS 169, come straight up, you have to stop at the market, and there's a light there for the market, as well as people coming the opposite direction to have a camera light to take a picture to give you a license plate view, to give you a ticket in the mail for the speeding zone. Now you're putting a traffic light on the next corner on the other side of White Castle, on 223rd Street, that's from right here, that's going to 222nd Street. And they don't think of how to time the lights so that people are not speeding through the community. And my problem is on 223rd Street, we have children that play on a curve. So when traffic comes through that street, that means they're not going to see the children that are on that curve going up to 23rd Street to prevent them from getting hit. I'm an educator from the city. And when the children are playing in the street, they give you the finger, they give you mouth. They don't have anything but attitude until they realize they know who you are, then they'll give you a little respect. But these other cars are not going to slow down, and we even have a speed bump there. That doesn't slow the traffic down.
I hate to tell you this, but your 3 minutes are up. I don't want to interrupt.
I would just like to know, do you have a knowledge of the light? Anyone on your board?
I don't think we do, so what we will do is
I don't
sit
know
down.
who's speaking to me, I apologize.
I'm the chair right here. I'm right here.
Oh,
Hi. Okay. We will sit down with DOT and follow up on this.
But the structure's already there.
We'll follow. It's already there. And the light's installed, and you're saying this is the reaction to what's happening with the light being installed. It's installed already, correct? It's installed?
The structures are there, so they're
Okay.
installing them sometime
All
within
right.
the next week or two.
We will follow up.
But your
okay?
board has not heard about the lights.
We will follow up. It's first I'm hearing of it, so
But
we'll
please
follow
make
up.
sure you speak to them about the timing, because again, our children are precious to us. And people putting lights on that main street, that's a bus avenue, that's fine. But there's only one street going from Boston Road towards White Plains Road, and that's 223rd.
We will follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to address that actually. So just so that, and maybe John can correct me, traffic lights and traffic signals are federally funded studies that DOT embarks on at the request of either the precinct or the community board or any community resident. Anybody in the city of New York can call 311 and request anything. A study is then undertaken. Traffic lights are only installed after a survey is done, and then that survey identifies problems. So that must have been in high traffic area. It must have been lots of accidents, and that is the reason why traffic lights were installed, or a traffic light is being installed. We can follow up and find out if that's true or not, but there is no changing that. Okay? Just so that we're all understood. John can talk to it as well.
George.
Yeah, just
to
talk.
interject. Boston Post Road is US 1. It's a state road. That's why we never receive any notification. So the state DOT, they don't have to ask permission from the city. They don't have to ask permission from the community board. That's their road. So it's in that's the state right of way. All right.
We'll follow up directly. Ursula, you spoke with Ursula the other day. We have your information. I know who you are. We'll speak to the DOT commissioner tomorrow.
We will follow up, as I said. Okay.
I only
folks, we
follow
need
up
to move on.
suggests that
Been a
we're
long
going
night.
to do something other than what's already been done. I'm just letting the community know once a traffic light is put in, a traffic light is put in. There is no equivocation from the city. The reason that it is there is because it is a safety concern. So there's no, the community board is going to ask for it to go away. That just doesn't happen. So we can talk to the Borough Commissioner tomorrow. You can sit in my office. We'll call him. I'm just saying, again, there is nothing that notification doesn't come to the community board for traffic signals. Again, traffic signals and traffic lights are put in as a result of safety measures that are necessary because they're federally funded. Their surveys have to be done. They have to be responded to by the federal DOT.
All right, we need to move on, folks. Okay.
And I got a question.
The next speaker is Melinda Williams.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Melody Williams. Can you hear me?
Talk to the mic.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes.
My name is Melody Williams, and I work with the Bronx Neighborhood Housing Services. We're a nonprofit organization that helps low to middle income residents buy, maintain, and retain their homes. We do that through a series of seminars, counseling, and financial assistance programs. If you're a first-time home buyer, we have seminars that we offer to walk you through the steps that are involved in the home buying process, to educate you so that you're prepared for that. We also offer financial assistance for existing homeowners who are, whose homes are in need of rehabilitation. And last but not least, we also provide counseling for existing homeowners who are struggling with making their payments on their house and are in need of financial assistance in that area. If there is anyone who is interested in contacting us, our phone number is 718-881-1180, and our website is www.bronxnhs.org. On another note, we have an event coming up on July 8th, Saturday, July 8th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're having a housing fair where residents from the community will be able to interact with different lenders, legal professionals, and different agents from the federal and state level who will be able to give them feedback or advice about questions that they might have about home ownership or home ownership related services. So yes, that event will be taking place on Saturday, July 8th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be at 3350 Seymour Avenue, which is right off of Boston Road. And I do have flyers as well as business cards for anyone who's interested in getting more information. So please see me at the end of the meeting tonight, and I'll be happy to share that information with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Nicholas Hemeden from Community Board 9. He's the new chair. Okay, we caught him in a bad position.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
I
evening.
just, first of all, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having me. Mr. District Manager, it's always a pleasure. I just came into the neighborhood today to check out how the community board in this area was actually coming to a conclusion for the IBZs. The IBZs is an important factor that's happening throughout the entire Bronx, and I just wanted to see the feedback that was coming from your community board. In Community Board 9, storage facility units are popping up left and right, and we have issues with that because it's taking away from housing, and it's also taking away from other prospects that people can do. Our area should not turn into one giant storage facility, and we believe that's what's happening. So I thank you guys for your time. I really just came to check out everything. I had no intentions of speaking today, but obviously people put me up, and I'd like to thank everybody. I wish you all a great summer, and when you make the vote, just think about what's happening in your community. One of the questions we had was, and I think some of your board members brought it up, it was the distance between where one facility is opening and another facility. And one of the questions I asked is like when we have liquor licenses, there's a 500-foot marker that marks between each liquor licenses. And I think when we start writing the zoning for this and the text, or we have input in the zoning and the text, we should talk about how or where these facilities are put up and how many are allocated to each area. We don't want to turn the Bronx into one big giant storage facility. We have a beautiful neighborhood. You know, we are the only borough that's on the mainland. We have a lot going for us. The Bronx is booming, and it's time for us for really, you know, to take charge of our communities and not let it take out of play. And with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your commitment as board members. Chairman, thank you very much.
I just want to respond. It's an honor to have a colleague come in. The next time you come, please come up and join us up here.
I appreciate that,
please?
sir. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
Just to respond, I think, and Carmen mentioned that also, how many, she asked the question, how many? I think they're popping up all over the place
Yes,
because
sir.
they're not regulated. So hopefully after this vote tonight, we will have our hand in regulations in terms of influencing that.
Thank you. Can I just add one last thing too?
Sure.
There's a little rumor that I heard, and then I thought everyone should hear this too. A lot of these people are buying the lots or the lands, and what they're doing is they're converting them into storage facilities. And the reason why they're converting them into storage facilities is because it's very economically beneficial to the owners. And what happens is they hold on to the property until the property value increases, and then their plan is, again, this is a rumor, their plan is to get rid of the storage facility, hope for rezoning comes in, and then they're going to build whatever they want to build. So we should all be cognizant of the fact we are Bronxites, we all live here, we all love our community, and we should be really thinking about the future of our community and how we can best interact to do the things that is best for our community. Again, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for your time. George, it's always a pleasure. Good night, everybody. Happy summer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
That's the end of Community Speaks.
Thank you, first Vice Chair, second Vice Chair. Okay, Mr. District Manager, you're on.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. For the sake of brevity and all the presentations and people that have spoken, I will submit my report for the minutes. The only thing that I did want to acknowledge and thank the board for was we had 2 events that were fairly successful. We had the rain barrel event. We gave out over 170 rain barrels to the community. It was fairly successful. We were able to do that in about 4 or 5 hours that we were here. I want to thank Robert Hall and John Isaacs for coming and helping out, and John for bringing his son to help out as well, distribute the rain barrels. Javon was here. I also want to say we just wrapped up today ID NYC. They were here for 2 weeks, I believe it was, starting June 8th till today was the last day. It was fairly successful. A lot of people were rolling into the community board and signing up for the ID NYC. So I want to thank HRA for that. I want to thank all our board members that participated. The summer is coming. I hope everyone has a happy and safe and summer. But we will try to reconvene at some point over the summertime so that we can get this retreat together. Just trying to coordinate everybody's time is a little tricky right now. But again, I hope you have a happy and safe summer. Thank you for your time. And as I always end, today is my 689th day, which is 1 year, 10th month, and 19th day. Thank you.
Just want to piggyback on George's report. There was another event that occurred last week, and we had a barbecue, and George cooked at the barbecue. But not only did he cook at the barbecue, he put the entire, what do you call that? What do you call it, George, that you put together? George, what did you put together? I'm trying to tell on you and don't understand what I'm talking.
I'm sorry?
The grill.
Oh,
the barbecue grill. So not only did he cook, he put the barbecue grill together.
I don't know that we wanted to put that on camera for perpetuity, but
but we had a good barbecue. So I just wanted to comment on that. All right, thank you, George.
I'm sorry. We had someone from Nora Taggart. She said she signed. She was in for community.
Not on the
Speaks?
speakers list. No, from what we have, nothing. So.
She did. She was here from the beginning for us. So if we can afford her.
All right,
3 minutes.
we'll give her a couple of minutes. Yes, please come up. Please.
Come, Nora.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Nora Taggart. I'm with the American Postal Workers Union for New York City. I'm here because there's a full-out war against Bronx from U.S. Postal Management. Since January, they have cut 25 window clerk positions. They notified the union of 7 more, and it's not going to end until they decimate the service and they privatize it. In 2012, when they decided to shut down 34 post offices in New York City, 17 of them were in the Bronx. The community, the elected officials, and the union fought hard. We were able to save most of those post offices except for Bronx GPO. So now the post office management said, instead of closing down post office, let's just eliminate window clerks. Councilman Rafael Salamanca requested an audit. The time in line in the Bronx is between 7 minutes and 2 hours. If you go to the Postal Regulatory Commission, the national average wait-in time is under 5 minutes. It's no coincidence that when the post office decides to cut services, they target black and brown communities and communities of low income. So the union, and our union only represents the window clerks, maintenance, and motor vehicle. We don't represent the letter carriers. However, we are starting a campaign. It's called Save Our Service, Save Our Postal Service. We already spoke with Congressman Serrano's office. We're starting to visit all the community boards. Unfortunately, summer is upon us, but we're gonna be working very hard to do a campaign. There's so much we can do in the contractual. We've been able to recover some jobs, but the reality is that not only should they restore the jobs that they cut, they need to expand. Our union at the national level is very concerned about the Bronx. It's always been the hardest hit area in the country. And we are inviting all elected officials on all levels of government, all community organizations, the clergy, and obviously the community to fight, just like we did in 2012. We need to do that again. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything you can leave with us, a report or anything that you can leave with the district manager? Do you have a report or anything you can leave with our district manager?
Because we're just starting, I will email you tomorrow the audit and the compliance report and our contact information.
Leave that to our district manager, please.
I
okay?
will email it to.
right.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right. Okay, the Borough President's report. And how are you today? This evening, rather?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Barati from the Bronx Borough President's Office. Greetings coming from him directly to all of you. We've had an amazing start to a great year and almost 6 months already done. You guys are going on summer break now. We had some wonderful events, a lot of things happening in the borough of the Bronx. As far as the heritage and cultural events, we had Ramadan celebration, Caribbean heritage, and on Tuesday, the borough president hosted his second annual Guyana Day in the Bronx. And I'm especially happy and honored by that because I'm Guyanese, and it's nice to know that Ruben Diaz Jr. is the first borough president and the first administration in the office of the Bronx Borough President's location to host Guyana Day in the borough of the Bronx. So this shows that our community is being recognized. It also shows the diversity is growing in the borough of the Bronx, and it's nice to have a borough president that I can call my boss that recognize our people. But we do have a lot going on. You guys have been doing an amazing job. I know that you don't get paid for this. This is volunteer, but you take it very seriously. And it's really good to sit in the back or sit in the front and see you guys very engaged. You know, getting out of work, you're rushing over here. Some of you haven't even had dinner yet, but you're here. And that's important to us. We do want to engage more with the community boards. There's 12 throughout the borough of the Bronx. It's nice to see Chairman Nicholas Hamidian Jr. here from Community Board 9. And that's something I personally encourage all of you to do because you get to see how other boards run. You get to see how things are done in a different way and from an outside view, sitting as a public member, knowing that you're a board member on Community Board 12. So to George and Ursula, keep up the amazing work you guys do on a day-to-day basis and you know, doing all the operational stuff in front and behind the scenes here at the board. And to all of you board members, have a great summer. Take a little break, take some time away, just to have a, you know, fun or sit in the sun. But if you have any questions, please feel free. We are at work Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekend. 718-590-2653. I've had a few of you call me directly, and if I can't help you out, I will pass you to someone in the office that can help out. Again, that number is 718-590-2653. That is my direct line, and I sit at that desk. So if you feel free to call, say hello, if you have any questions, any concerns. And for the seniors, we do have a constituent services department and a senior services department. They take walk-ins. If there's any issues or concerns, you can call directly. You can come in, and you will be sitting with someone one-on-one and not talking to a machine. So the borough president's office is there with all of the service available. All you have to do is ask, and we will direct you. Thank you, and have a great night.
Thank you, Barati. Thank you. All right, I'm going to be brief with my report. I just want to share with the board members that on June 11th, your chairman was honored at the Change of Life Ministries right here on 233rd Street. And this is the plaque they gave me. And I represented Board 12. I was very, very happy to do that. And I spoke fondly of you, okay? In addition to that, Mr. Carl Hastings, our Speaker of the New York State Assembly, will be honored on the 25th, along with Reverend Minister Wade, who works here at our board. So on the 25th, they will be honored at Change of Ministries churches. So I thank Pastor Smalls. That's right on 233rd Street, between White Plains and the next street, whatever that next street is. So 4 o'clock in the evening. 4 o'clock in the evening. So Pastor Smalls and Deacon Harding, I thank them both for honoring me. Just a point of conversation I had with an ex-member of our community board. I'm a little concerned that the Education Committee hasn't met, and I'm going to try to work with that Education Committee to meet. We have a new system where tuition-free students will be able to go to school, but there's a lot of policies that are regulated, and I want to make sure that members of our community are able to take advantage of this new policy. So we need to have the specs on the policy and how it affects our community. So I want our Education Committee to meet, and I'm going to talk to our chairperson of the Education Committee and Ms. Gordon, who is here, and all the members of the community who want to serve on that committee, who don't necessarily have to be part of our board to serve on that committee. I want to engage them. So we're going to try to work a little more in detail in terms of the Education Committee. So those of you who are on the Education Committee, I will be in touch with, and also I will be in touch with the chair. So very important to me. The Bylaws Committee also is an important issue to me because I want to ensure that we are able to continue to have new administrations in our board. You know, a lot of you young people, this is your first year. Next year will come by as quickly as the first year, second year. After the third or so year, you should be able to run for office. So, I mean, I want to do a good job. I want your support, but at a certain point, you need to push me aside and move on to the next, okay? And that's what I want to see. So I want you young people who are here, when I say young people, people who have been here a year or two, just to look, to learn, to listen, and to eventually assume these positions up here. Because that's what this is about, movement. And I think if we have an administration that sits too long in a spot, it's not healthy for the board or the community. So that's very important that we push that Bylaws Committee and change the bylaws. One other point I'm going to make, the Baychester project has been approved by the board. I did have a conversation with our councilman, and I want to work with our councilman. There's a few issues he's not too happy with. And I want the community board and the councilmen to come together on this Baychester. I kept saying, even though the vote was to approve, it wasn't a done deal. And I want us to influence what's going to go into that Baychester project, any modifications that have to be made. And I do want our council person to be satisfied with that Baychester project. It's in our community. So I want us to work together. I'm going to be talking to Bryant and trying to move ahead with this Baychester community project. So it's not a done deal, even though it's approved. Baychester Square, approved, but not complete. So I want our community board as well to continue to influence modifications on that project. And that's my point. I think, Ms. Gibson, you have something you want to comment?
Sir. Are they going to be working on this during July and August?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Will they be working on this project during July and August? If so, we will not be in service. So how will we know?
I'm going to speak with the council person, and we're going to continue. Even though it's July and August, we're not going to shut down. We're going to continue to investigate, monitor, put the project under surveillance, and contact those who are working on the project. Okay? So we're going to continue. We're not going to go to sleep for the summer. All right?
Thank you,
okay,
sir.
yes, ma'am.
So
We did receive a traffic study, but again, I think there's continual modifications that need to occur on that, and again, we have to continue to modify. It's not a one solution completes the project. I think we have to look at 3 or 4 different options in that traffic, as well as the retail and as well as all the other areas of that project. So. That's what I'm saying now. What I'm saying is I want us to continue. I don't want us to say it's a project that's complete. I want us to continue to be involved in the modifications. So we're going to have to get the all the people together at one table that influence that project, okay, including the developers. So just want to mention that, okay? Ms. Gibson again?
You stated you want to get one group together to work on this project?
No, I want to get all the groups that influence and involve that in developing that project again together. It's, as I'm saying, it's not a done deal.
You mean other than the board?
No, including the board. Including the board. I want us to be inclusive in modifications and changes that need to occur, including our council person. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay. So. All right, let's go to committee reports because it's getting late and I want to keep it moving. Do we have any committee reports? Oh, you got one for me. Okay, just let me. Okay. We have a guest speaker from the mayor's office. Is that correct? Do we? Yes. And the gentleman, where is he? Oh, please. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Give us your name.
Good evening. My name is Famod Kone.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Famod Kone. I'm new, so by introduction, I live in CB3. I just started the job about a month and a half ago. But anyway, so I wanted to stop by tonight because I didn't get the chance to meet the full board during the Mayor City Hall in the Borough event. That was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Mayor de Blasio was in the borough for the entire week, beginning May 20th to the 25th. And this was an initiative that the mayor started this year. Staten Island was the first borough, and then the Bronx was the second one. We had a lot of great events. 3 major events we had was a resource fair, the town hall, and the opening of Archer Beach. Well, so I wanted to stop by tonight because I realized since this is the last meeting before the summer recess to say thank you to the chair and the member of the CB12 for really helping us to make City Hall in the Borough a success. The second event we had about a week ago, Monday actually, was a rally that we had at City Hall telling Albany to give mayor control over the school. So as you all know, that's a conversation that has been going on. We also had a great presence from CB12. I wanted to stop by to say thank you again for supporting that effort on Monday. And just to say to you, thank you. And I'm going to be here. This is going to be my board moving forward. I know some of you know Joshua Cortez. Josh is being reassigned to another board, but I'm going to be doing CB12. So I'm looking forward to working with you, and I want to wish you a happy and safe summer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And please return. And we're not shutting down for the summer. So if you need to come back in July, need to come back in August, we'll be here.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
Right.
All right. Okay, any other committee reports? Okay, wait, I just want to, Parks? I want yours. Parks? Okay. I know, but we'll be around. No, we're not meeting, but we'll be around. We're not. We're having a formal meeting, but we'll be around. Yes, Parks?
Been doing the mic switch all night. I just like to give some shout outs and special thanks. First off, Mr. Councilman Andy King, Dr. Robbins, Carla Brachetti, Dr. Michael Burke, Bronx River Alliance, Renee Patterson, Robert Hall, the McAllister Sisters, Department of Traffic Committee, Parks Commissioner Rodriguez, Ursula Green, I don't know where I would be without you, Manager George Torres, Chairman Bill Hall, the Executive Board, Community Board, and most of all, our community, District 12. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a comment, I'm very pleased with the amount of work the Parks Committee has done this year. You've done quite a bit. And the other point I want to make is I'm in that park every other day, and it's clean. It's there's a lot of people in there, and we're using that park, and the grass is being cut, so we're having a positive effect on our park. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Carl?
I'm sorry, Carl. Brian just wanted to make a quick note on a specific issue that Ivan raised, so.
I'm
Okay,
sorry
Brian.
I didn't mention this before, but Councilmember is very supportive of the parks in the neighborhood. And as he brought up Renee Patterson, the Councilmember gave $350,000 to redo some of Seton Falls Park, to restore and to upkeep some of the walkways, because we took a tour with Renee Patterson and the Baychester Quality of Life and some volunteers, and it was in dire need of restoration. And some of the bad habits that take place in the park will hopefully be thwarted by the renovations that we're able to make through the council discretion, the capital dollars we put in. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want to make sure we don't forget Christine
Foreman?
was
Yes.
a very
Yeah.
unique person.
Yes.
Board member here, and
Yes.
very concerned about that park.
And the
Yes, she
council
was.
member listened to the
Yes.
concerns. We put the
certainly
money in.
was.
Thank you, Johnny, for bringing her up. She's,
You're
Brian,
welcome.
Brian, please don't leave, 'cause I want to talk to you after the meeting.
You know I'm gonna hang out
Okay.
as long as the food's
Thank
here.
you.
And it's on video.
Dr. Burke?
Mr. Chair, I want to say also, as a point of personal privilege and for the record, to thank you, Ivan, as well as you, Carla, for not only chairing those committees, and we were able to get the work done that we were able to get done because of your leadership. So I have to mention that again. This is for the record. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Carla, for your hard work and for allowing a newbie like me to come in and kind of sort of, I won't say crash the party per se, but to ask, a lot of questions. So thank you for your work, both of you.
All right, call.
I'm going to do the Bylaws Committee first. The Bylaws Committee met tonight for the last time to verify what we want to change in the bylaws. I want you to understand, if we approve the recommendation of the Bylaws Committee tonight, it has to go down to the Borough President for review, and then this Corporation Council at City Hall to make sure there's nothing in it that they don't like. Everybody has a copy of this because it was emailed to you in March. And in April and May, I asked you, please review it. If you have any issues, let me know. Oh, bingo. I guess everybody's really happy about it because I heard nothing. And I'm going to read what we're asking to change. And if it is approved by the Corporation Council, we want it effective with the election tonight. We want to start it tonight so we can move along and provide more people with an opportunity on this board. So I'm going to read the change that we made to the bylaws. If you can bear with me 1 minute. It's in Section 3. It says, officers of the board can serve no more than 3 consecutive terms in order to qualify as an officer of the board. A member must serve 5 consecutive years on the board prior to serving as an officer of the board. Serve 5 consecutive years on a standing committee prior to serving as an officer of the board. Members with excuse leave due to medical or family leave are exempt. What we're asking to do is when you vote, we're going to go for 2 years for each election, so we don't have to go through this every year. We're going to make it you'll be allowed to run 3 times. After the third time, you cannot run for an executive position on the board. You have to remain at least 1 year, and since it's going to be every 2 years, 2 years off the executive committee until you can request to run again. And it'll be up to the nominating committee to see if they want to nominate you back onto the board. But this opens up to other people on the board. And the reason I chose 5 years, when members come to the board, you don't learn what's necessary to do over a year or 2 years or 3 years. You need 5 years of experience, and you got to be dedicated. You don't come to one meeting a year and think you're covered. You're not. You have to come, more often. You have to serve on a committee. You really should be a chair of a committee if possible, and then you'll be more eligible to run for office. I think that's a fair way to do it because it does open opportunities to the other people. We haven't had a term limit as far as I'm on the board 47 years, right? Okay, and we used to have term limits, and then under the predecessor to Bill Hall, he eliminated term limits. So, I mean, I think he was in positions like 15 years, maybe more.
22 years.
22 years, thank you, a little more than that. So that's unjust to other members of the board who are qualified. But to justify your qualifications, you must serve and show that you have an interest in the community. We do have board members, and they'll go unnamed, that join the board, and you see them once every 2 years, when it's time to be re-upped. That's not the person you need on the executive board. You need somebody that's dedicated. It's here almost every meeting. We all get sick. We all have issues, family issues. You have to miss a meeting, so you can be excused. But the Bylaws Committee is recommending that you approve the recommendation of it so we can proceed with this. And again, I said, if it's approved, it's going to be retroactive to tonight's vote. I think that's fair, because if we don't have a retroactive to tonight's vote, we have to wait till next June to start it. And I prefer to get it into the system as soon as possible, to open up opportunities for board members.
Let me just clarify. That means when we get to the elections tonight and you vote, you'll be voting for us for 2 years. That's exactly what that means. So just to clarify, so everybody is okay?
Yes, call.
After, say, the 6th year, you will not be allowed to be run for that position? Or
No, any position on the executive board. Because, it's nice to be chair and then get bumped down to second chair or vice versa. You have to get new blood. Okay? Okay? So if I can have a motion to, I'm sorry. Did somebody want to say something?
You say you have to get new blood. What happens if the blood is good?
Ms. Gibson, I think I addressed that. Listen, you know what? Like I say, I want your support. I want you all to support me and love me. But at a certain point, you need to push me on, okay? We need to keep this rejuvenated. So even if you're good, you go out with a good reputation, okay? Yes, Ms. Gibson. What we're trying to do here is to allow for these offices to open up to other people who want to come in. That's what we want. It's really, well, it is, but we want to ensure that. No, yeah, right. But the point, the major point I'm trying to make is, again, I want you all to love me, but even if you love me, it's time for me to move on when it's time for me to move on, okay? And that's That's what I think is healthy and will keep things balanced. Okay? All right.
What we did was, when we did this, we formed it after other bylaws for other organizations and corporations, and so we looked at a lot of different bylaws, and we thought this fits the best for Community Board 12. So
you need,
I'll get you, Doc, yes.
no, you need a motion from the floor, you said, right? You need a motion?
Not on the, you need a motion on the floor to accept the nominating committee's report. That's what we need.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion then that we accept the report of the nominating committee.
It's not the, I mean
of the
bylaws
bylaws
committee. I
committee
keep getting mixed up, yeah.
for the
Bylaws
recommendations to alter the bylaws.
Okay. Okay. Call the roll. Once we call the roll, then we can roll.
Go ahead, Ms. Gibbs.
Who's on the bylaw committee?
Myself, Judah Benitez, over here, and Carla Bagassi behind you, and my friend over there, Mr. Buildings.
Benitez. Okay.
And they all agree to what we're going to vote.
We approved it tonight, and John Isaacs, by the way. You're welcome.
Call the question because we have another vote. We have a few more votes and it's getting late. I'd like to get my people out of here. Okay. All right, Carmen? Okay.
Franklin Alapo. Benitez Judith. Bennett Iguria. Hazel Berry. Bloomfield Hillary. Boras Ivan Anthony.
Abstain.
Versotti Carla. Brown Ellen Marlene. Victor Brown. Deacon Edward Brown. Brian Norbert. Dr. LaGree Bird. Campbell Sadie. Christian Evelyn. Gail Clark. Joan Clark. Claude. Coleman Bernicia. Dickerson Toylene. Eastman Lauder, not here. Evans Raymond. Figueroa Alfredo. Gibson LeGrand Barbara. She's abstained. Johnny Goff. Green Chantel. I know how to scream, you know. Robert Hall. William Hall. Hayes Lisa. Horton April. Horton April, not here. Isaac John. James Theodore. Lanzano Carl. Martine Lucille, did she come in? No, not here. McLeod Mary, not here. McNeil Walter, not here. Angela Moore, not here. Clinton Mike. Ortiz Carmen, aye. Porter Frank. Powell Claudia, not here. Anthony Reed, not here. Dr. Dina Robbins, not here. Felix Roldan, not here. Selkie I.C. May Thomas, not here. Strickler Carl. Nicole Weir, not here. And Norma. In case I make a mistake.
Now we need a motion to forward this to the Borough President's office.
In the interest of time, the next motion is to forward it to the Borough President's office. Does anybody want to change the vote? So can we use our previous vote for the vote to forward this to the Borough President's office? Aye? Okay, so no, we're going to move this right into the Borough President's office, and he'll do the review. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, Carl, you go.
Okay.
Go.
Tonight we had a, looks like a snake. Tonight we had a land use hearing on a service station located at 233rd and Baychester Avenue. The variance he had for pumping gas and repairs on the station was up in 2015. So he's coming for another 10-year renewal. But there was some technically illegal activities on the location that he was unaware that he didn't have the right to do. One was selling used cars, and which really made the place look terrible. The last 2 months he was here, I told him he has to clean up his act. If you go to the service station now, it's fairly clean. He still has a little issue with the convenience store, which he promised me he would take care of because he will be coming back in September for a request to be able to sell used cars, because right now he does not have the right to. And we agreed to that. So the Land Use Committee came up with approval to renew his gas station license concerning pumping gas and auto repairs only. So I need a motion for a vote to accept the committee's report.
So I would like to make a motion that we accept the report of the Land Use Committee as written.
Okay, anybody? Okay, call the
Okay, Robert Hall, second, and Dr. Burke.
first. Right. Okay, so you don't have to call the roll to see if anybody wants to.
Okay, in the interest of time, do we have anyone who objects? So can we record everyone as a yay? An aye, well, an aye? Okay, okay. We'll do the aye, not the yay, okay.
Now we need a motion to send a letter to BSA approving his gas, pumping, and auto repair only.
Again, does anyone want to change their vote from the previous vote? Okay, give me all right.
So we
Not
needed-
selling the cars yet, no.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the variance for BSA gas so that they can have it as a gas station only. Auto repair.
Gas and auto.
Oh, gas and auto repair. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendation of the Land Use Committee for gas and auto repair only.
And however, we are going to have another hearing on the other issues, so just so we all understand, okay?
Yeah, you don't have to put that on.
Okay. Now, do we need to take a vote, or can we use that previous vote, Carl? Can we use it?
But we need a second on the
All right,
motion.
does any... Hillary Bluefield, seconds. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, no. Okay, all right, so we have that. We have that. Okay, all right.
The secretary, she doesn't understand why you guys.
Okay, what we just did was approve the motion. Okay? Made a motion. So we approved the report of the Land Use Committee. All right, and he's going to return. All right. We're going to send that letter. That motion was made and approved as well. Okay, so we got that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, you had two people who abstained in the very beginning when you did the bylaws, and would you like to?
Well, no. They asked them in the beginning of the first thing if anybody wanted to.
They're staying the same. Are you staying the same all the way through this whole thing?
All right, give me those two names.
That's what I'm
Only the bylaws.
Okay. Oh, okay, so they're not going to remain, so they, okay, good point, very good point. Very good eyes, very good point. That's right, so we have it clear now. Thank you, Ms. Benitez. All right, thank you. Okay. One more? Okay,
want
a lot of work.
You want to? Hey, look, we're busy. This is about the storage facilities. The board saw a report given by city planning on what they plan to do. By approving their request, it gives the board some control over where the storage facilities can be built. They have to come to the board for approval. And since it was a general presentation to the whole board, the Land Use Committee did not make a recommendation, a yes or no, because everybody was here. But I will take the shot and say we agree with city planning's issue about controlling where the storage bins go, because we may want, the way they're going up, we might have to wind up living in them because there ain't no place to live. So, yeah, there are people living in them, actually. Yeah, so the Land Use Committee Chair recommends that we approve the recommendation of city planning.
So I would like to make a motion that we accept the report and that we approve the recommendation made by the Land Use Committee of the presentation that we saw by city planning, that we limit the amount of storage facilities that we have on.
Motion made by Dr. Burke. Motion second by Hillary Bloomfield, Treasurer. Okay. All right. Call the questions.
Call the question, please.
Anybody want to change their vote from the last one?
In the interest of time, can we record everybody as aye? We have a unanimous vote. Aye. Madam Chair.
Now we need a recommendation to send a letter to city planning. Sorry.
Okay, so we need a motion to send a letter to city planning.
So
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to city planning.
Dr. Burke making the motion, seconded by, give us Raymond Evans.
Thank you, Ray.
Now, does anybody want to change the vote from the last vote? Okay, the ayes have it.
A letter will go.
Okay, letter will go.
That's the end of land use report.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, let's go to the nominating committee so we can move on to old and new business. Nominating committee, give us your report. Nominating chair.
All right, good evening. I'm Clinton Mike, chair of the nominating committee. Last month we presented the slate for the election. The slate consists of Chair William Hall, First Vice Chair Carl Stricker, Second Vice Chair John Isaac, Secretary Carmen Ortiz, and Treasurer Hillary Bloomfield. And now I guess I'm supposed to open up the floor for
3 times. Any nominations from the floor? 3 times for each position. Start from the chair.
Okay, so start with the chair again? Okay. Okay, Chair William Hall. First Vice Chair Carl.
No, just first chair. Do the chair 3 times.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to be nominated?
Any
for
nominations
chair?
from the floor? Any nomination from the floor? That's how
Any
it goes.
nominations from the floor for chair? Any nominations from the floor for chair? That's 3. That was it. So nominations are closed now for chair. Any nominations for first vice chair?
Secretary has to cast 1 vote.
I cast 1 vote.
Okay, now you can go to.
Okay, now, okay.
Okay.
All right, I get it now. Okay, any nominations for first vice chair from the floor? Any nominations for first vice chair from the floor? Any nominations for first vice chair from the floor? Nominations closed. Okay. Any nominations for sec? Oh, she didn't know.
Cast the vote, come.
Secretary cast, accept the votes
For for first vice chair.
from 1 vice chair.
Okay. Okay.
Second vice chair, any nominations from the floor for second vice chair? Any nominations from the floor for second vice chair? Any nominations from the floor for the second vice chair? The nominations now closed for second vice chair.
I cast a vote
The second vice chair.
for second vice chair.
Now, you cannot cast a vote for you, so secretary's coming up next, so just do the secretary next, we'll have somebody else cast that vote for.
Okay, any nominations from the floor for secretary? Any nominations from the floor for secretary?
Can do that vote.
Okay.
You can't nominate himself. though. Cannot nominate himself.
Did you say it 3 times?
Twice.
Say it one more time.
Any nominations from the chair, from the floor for secretary?
Okay, nominations are closed.
Nominations are closed for secretary.
First vice chair cast the ballot, cast the vote for the secretary.
You can't vote for you. You can't vote.
That's it?
Okay.
Any nominations from the floor for treasurer? Any nominations from the floor for treasurer? Any nominations from the floor for treasurer?
Ms. Barb, I have a nomination. Ms. Dickerson?
Do you accept, Ms. Dickerson, for treasurer? Gotta let us know. It's gotta be yes or no. You have to accept or not accept. You accept? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, now what we're gonna have to do, folks, we can get through this smoothly. All right, so we have Ms. Dickerson and Ms. Hillary Bloomfield, all right? So now what we're gonna have to do is take a vote. Now, here's my question to the, to our, yeah. Do we need to do a paper ballot?
Yes.
All right.
Closed ballot.
All right, so we're gonna have to take our time and do this paper ballot, okay?
Somebody has to get paper written up.
Now, before this happens, there's 2 things the chair wants to happen. I want Hillary Bloomfield to say a few words. I want Ms. Dickerson to say a few words to us. So, Ms. Bloomfield, since you're in the office, would you have a few words to say to us? I'm sorry, you're what? You don't want to have to say anything? Yes, I'm sure you do.
Okay. Good evening, board members, our community. I thought you don't think yeah. Okay. As you know, my name is Hillary Bloomfield. I've been on the board for many years. I'm not quite sure how many years, but it's been many years. And I've taken over the spot from someone else who had the spot previously before me. And she rests in peace. She's gone now. However, as being the treasurer, there are certain duties that call for being the treasurer. And that is to make sure that we keep the books in order. When we collect dues, you will get a receipt that I will usually write out, and you get your receipt. That money is for us to use for anyone that may have passed away. We want to do it as community, and to give them a wreath or some fruits or something. Other times, that's basically what we use the Sunshine Fund for. It's not used for anything else. Unless something comes up, and then the board will talk about it among themselves and says, hey, Hillary, this is what needs to get done or what we can do. Do we have the money? And that money comes from you paying your $20. It's $20 one time, once a year. Once a year, that's it, okay? So I have the books, and if anyone wants to see it, and the bank it is in the bank. We keep it in the bank. It's not here in the premises. We have in the bank account. So whoever takes over, I'd be more than happy to show you and help you to do whatever you need to get done. I have no problems with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bloomfield.
Yes.
Yes, I still want the position. Okay? I'm so-
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tarlene Dickerson. I've been with the Community Board 8 for I don't know how many years, and
12.
then wait, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
now, since
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
moved,
Okay.
I am here with
Okay.
Community Board 12.
All right.
Y'all thought y'all had me, right?
Okay.
I have done Sunshine Fund before. I feel quite honored that I was nominated. And, you know, I understand you'd have to go through the process because this would be something new, but I'm always good for a challenge. Thank you.
Now, I want to make a comment as the chairperson after these two young ladies have spoken and they're going to be running. It is my intention as the chair to expand their jurisdiction in finance of the community board. So I'm just letting you know that they'll have expanded responsibility. Whoever the treasurer is going to have expanded responsibilities for the next term. And we haven't drawn out exactly what those expanded responsibilities are, but they will have additional expanded responsibilities as of the chair. So I just want to let you both know and let the board know that there will be some changes in the responsibility levels. Call? No. In other words, it means that after tonight's election, which what we just had, we'll be on for 2 years, okay? And what'll happen is it'll be the first segment of the 2-year term. So I'll be able to come back 2 more times after this. Well, yeah, I guess tomorrow, yeah, because we're still, yeah. Yes, it is tomorrow, yeah. Based on the atomic clock, it's tomorrow. Okay. Okay, thank you, Carl. Yeah, okay, all right. All right, so now this is going to be a little time consuming, but this is important. Treasurer is important. Okay, so we have to get some paper. So if Ursula would get us some paper, or the district manager would get us some paper, and, oh, they're bringing the ballots down? Okay. All right. Now, another point, and I'm a little confused. When I'm confused, I'll let you know. Can we, as the elected officials, vote? I cannot vote as the chair, so I have to relinquish my vote. Can the other members vote? Dr. Burke, as far as you know, but I cannot vote. Okay, very good. All right, thank you. All right, while we're waiting, I'll just share with you the fact that I've been your chair for a year. I was elected interim for about 3 months, and then I was elected your chair for a year. We've done a lot of work this year. We've kept it moving, and I'm proud of that. But there's a lot of improvement we need, and we're going to be improving this fall. We're going to be doing, hopefully we're going to have that seminar, and we're going to interact a little more effectively and bring you a little more information, a little more content in that information. We're going to try to, he's not going anywhere. We're going to try to incorporate district cabinet meetings into our district manager's report, so you'll know a little more about what's going on in our community, and we're going to reach out a little more. Now, as you all know, I've been in school for the last, I don't want to say how many years. I'm about to finish up, hopefully September I will be finished, and I will be able to commit a lot more time to our board, and which I will do. So next year, the next cycle, I intend to give a lot more work or produce a lot more work for this board in terms of getting a lot of more things done in our community. attending a lot more affairs and trying to work into our objectives for the following year. I'm happy that the bylaws were accepted by you because I don't want to take the time to run again, so I won't have to run. I can work instead of run. So that's more effective for me and better for you guys as well. But I always comment that you guys are non-billable, and I really appreciate the fact that you come here, that you're here tonight. It's late, and we're going through this process. Nobody can pay for the work that you give this community. And this community needs to understand just how much work you guys are doing, and that's going to be another part of my objective next year, to kind of market the work that our community is doing. So just this little speech here after my election. Just want to let you know that I am engaged, and I'm happy and proud to be your chairperson. Okay, and like I say, we make mistakes and we have to redo things sometime, but we're working hard. So. All right. Just to share with you also, I am also the chair of the Croton Filtration Plant and Committee, and we had a meeting last Monday, and I'm going to be instrumental in trying to get our schools to become part of the educational program, because students in our schools have no idea about where the water comes from, how it's filtered, and how we drink and why we drink. And that's something that I think will be another one of my objectives for the following year. So just want to share with you what I'm thinking and how I feel and what we're doing, okay? And I also want input from you guys, okay? If we need to do something a little differently or spend a little more time on something, I need inputs. I'm blessed to have good people around me, and it's just not, it doesn't really work if you don't listen to the good people when they have something to say, okay? So. Just want you to know. Okay, I'm getting the cue. You got a question in the corner. All right, so, all right, Carl has a question. No, this is the last office where everything else has been charged. I just want to give some filler time. Okay, nominating chair, are you ready? Okay. All right, okay, we're voting for treasurer.
The ballots are being passed out.
Ms. Hillary Bloomfield, Ms. Dickerson.
Everyone will need to circle one name on the ballot. One name. Circle one name on the ballot.
Oh, that's right. I can't vote. Okay.
Yeah, I think they...
I guess I can eat now.
Does everybody have a ballot?
Here, take mine. Take mine. She's good. It's just gonna circle.
Make sure you fold it.
Circle and fold it. Circle and fold it. Pass it up.
How do you even have a sense of humor at 10 o'clock at night?
Okay.
Folded. I'm coming to collect them now. Ladies first.
Okay. All right. We need one more. I gave to her. Dr. Burke, we need one more. One more. Okay, so just, Dr. Burke, what happened was she left a note. She wants that note. Lisa left it. You can't do that? No, okay.
Do I have everybody? Do I have everybody's ballot?
Going once.
Do I have everybody's ballot?
Twice.
Do I have everybody's ballot?
Third time.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You got the trifecta.
Trifecta.
We're just waiting for the vote, and that's it. 'Cause Joan has an announcement to make, so she like do other stuff, so we're not waiting after we take the vote.
Save the date of, because everyone is over here, the meeting is over. Okay, you're gonna make it?
We'll make sure.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah, yeah. I did. Yes, yes. You're right. Yeah. We're gonna put that on the Facebook page. Actually. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know what, you can read it now.
I'm sorry. No, we don't mind.
No, it's just an announcement.
No,
You can
no.
wait in the meantime, because people are ready to go, they're already
Okay.
here. It's just that we're having, I wanted to save the date.
Okay.
What I'm having, a health awareness day.
No, no, we want you to announce that.
You announce it.
I'm good.
You announce it.
No, you announce it. Folks, just your attention, please, board members. I know we're getting ready to leave. We're going to do that vote. Could I just have your attention for a moment? Ms. Claude's got an announcement to make. Ms. Claude,
Hello,
please give her
hello.
your attention. It's working? Yeah, speak into the mic.
I just have an announcement to make.
Folks, please give her your attention.
As a reminder, I'm asking you to save the date of Saturday, September 16, 2017. That's a day when we will do our next project, which is a health awareness day. With the assistance of Montefiore Hospital, we should be able, and we're hoping, to bring invaluable information to the community. And we're asking you to give us your support. The date again is September 16. It's a Saturday. Please look out for your emails where we will send the flyers out to everyone. September 16, we'll have a Health Awareness Day right here at Community Board 12.
Thank you, Ms. Claude. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
The email will have more information.
Okay. All right. Guys, I'm going to get you out here as soon as we have this vote. So just give us a few. Thank you, Ms. Claude. Just give us a few more minutes, and I'm going to close our meeting. But we need to have the vote officially, and I think we're still being recorded. So, all right. Can I ask the board members to take their seats? Can I ask the board members to take their seats? Can I ask the board members to take their seats, please? Please take your seats, board members. All right. Okay, we have an announcement. Board members. Board members. Okay. Just give us this, and I'll get you out of here, and you'll have a good summer.
Tally. Do you need a tally?
No, just give us who won. Just
The winner was Hillary Bloomfield.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Hillary. I need to speak to you before you leave. Motion to adjourn. Okay. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. I really Take care.
We are together. And for the last 20 years, we have been building on a vision to share our views, our voices on our channels. We are the Bronx. We are BronxNet.
Well, I got this as a paid internship. Spending my time here, I really enjoyed the people that work here. I enjoy what goes on behind the scenes.
So far, I've learned how to operate a camera, how to host. I learned how to control audio.
My first time hosting was really nerve-wracking, but I really enjoyed it because it was a new experience.
Coming to you from our BronxNet studios, 4 new shows highlighting some of the best of the Bronx has to offer. We sit down with political leaders on In the District and discuss local legislation, events, and issues. See how the community and business come together with The Bronx Now on BronxNet. Nosotros features leaders from our Latino community. Meet those who are moving to make a difference in public service, business, arts, and culture. Looking for new and exciting dining experiences? Then you'll want to savor the Bronx and try new restaurants and eateries that fill the borough with delicious dishes. We have it all, so experience the Bronx in new and fresh ways on BronxNet.